So many players we're linked with. How many do you think we're actually going to sign? Hello, welcome back to my channel over and over and over again, which features everything to do with Arsenal. Now, this video today is just going to be about some of the transfer targets that's been mentioned, players that we are supposedly been interested in, and just to really quickly go over them just to see whether or not we think they're likely to happen or not in this particular summer window. Now, the first player is one that we've been linked with several times actually over the last couple of transfer windows, and that is Dayot Upamecano, the 21-year-old French central defender currently playing for Leipzig. Now, I know that this was quite heavily mentioned in the January window and last summer transfer window as well. Obviously, nothing happened then. Now, I do feel as though this is going to be dependent on the Gabriel signing. I think if we sign Gabriel, then I can't see us pursuing any interest in Upamecano because they play in a similar position. We seem to have a lot of defenders already, so I can't see us buying two, not without us shipping out three or four. So I can't see this happening unless something doesn't go on with Gabriel. But I think Gabriel seems to be the main target for central defence. So I don't think this Upamecano is going to happen. Certainly not now. Whether it could be something in the future, I don't know. But my feeling is not for this particular window. There's been another central defender that we've been linked to. It's another Brazilian actually, Diego Carlos, who's currently playing for Sevilla in Spain. He's 27 years old and he's only made 183 senior club appearances, so he seems to have been more of a second choice. And again, I can't see any interest being pursued in this player if we sign Gabriel, who's a lot younger, and he's obviously a player for the future. I think the links again are to do with Edu. There's a lot of Brazilians that we've been linked with. I think Edu's been very busy over there in the last few months, checking out some players. But I would be very amazed if anything happens with Diego Carlos, certainly in this window or possibly ever. I don't think he's a player for us. I don't know where that one's come from, but I wouldn't read too much into that one. There's another Brazilian actually, and this one I think there could be something in this one. It's Douglas Luiz, who currently plays for Aston Villa. Now, I don't know if you remember, but 3 years ago he did join Manchester City as a teenager. I think they had really high hopes for him. He's a central midfield player. Unfortunately, they couldn't get a work permit sorted out because he didn't have full international caps or anything like that. They sent him out on loan to La Liga for a couple of seasons, and then he joined Aston Villa last summer. Now, he had a good season for Aston Villa. He made 40 appearances, scored 3 goals, helped them stay in the Premier League, and also reached the final of the Carabao Cup. So he had a good season. He's only 22 years old, and I can see him being targeted as a possible replacement for Guendouzi because I think they've got a similar role in the team and in the squad. So I wouldn't be surprised at all to see us step up our interest in him, bearing in mind to say he was on Manchester City's books under Arteta a couple of years ago. So I definitely feel there might be something in that. And I know a few Arsenal fans have been a little bit surprised maybe about those links, but I actually feel that this could have some legs, this one. And to be honest with you, I actually think it could be a good deal. I say to possibly replace Guendouzi and even obviously Lucas Torreira as well, who's supposed to be leaving. So I do think we could do with some reinforcements in the midfield area as squad players, and he could well be a good option there. So I'd say look out for that one because I wouldn't be surprised to hear more about that coming up in the next few weeks. Another player who, of course, has been linked with Arsenal several times before, particularly last summer, Wilfried Zaha. Now, Crystal Palace have basically said they're going to let him go this window. He's made it quite clear that he would like to play for Arsenal, but I think that ship maybe sailed last year. I think Unai Emery was really keen to get him, but of course that deal couldn't be done last summer. I'd be amazed now, even though Crystal Palace are willing to accept a loan for a season with an option to buy. I'm just not sure if the time's right now. I think it's going to depend a lot on the Willian deal. I think if we get Willian in this window in the next week or so, then I can't see us going for Zaha as well. I just feel as though we've got enough players in that area now that we wouldn't need to get any more. So I'd be surprised and amazed we went for Wilfried Zaha if we get Willian. But if the Willian deal doesn't happen for any reason, then maybe that'll be an option on loan. But I'd say at this moment in time, I'm not expecting Wilfried Zaha to become an Arsenal player this summer. Um, Another couple of players who we've had sort of slight links to. One is the Wolves striker Raul Jimenez. Now, I think the main reason for that was with the uncertainty over Aubameyang. He would be obviously a good replacement to come in. I think he could get similar amount of goals playing for Arsenal. Very good player. I think he's had the most goal involvements this season in the Premier League. So very good player, I say, and I certainly wouldn't have any issues at all if we were to, pursue him and try to get that signing done. But I think a lot of it's going to depend on the Aubameyang. I think if Aubameyang signs his contract, then I'm not sure whether or not this would go any further. But having said that, with the news coming out about Lacazette possibly being sold, then we may be in the market for another goal scoring centre forward. And Raul Jimenez would actually fit that Lacazette role really well, wouldn't he? Because he's a hard worker. He can do a good job dropping deeper as well, as a false number 9, if you like, which is what Lacazette's been playing. And I do feel as though he could do a good job there as well. So I wouldn't say it's completely dead. I think a lot of it's going to depend on what happens with Aubameyang and Lacazette and see where we are. But that one again could well happen if in certain circumstances, but it's not something I'm expecting immediately. I think that one. Plus, of course, Wolves are still in the Europa League, and I don't think anything will happen with that while that's happened anyway. So, but let's just keep an eye on that one because I think it might be bubbling away in the background. Um, Another player that I've been mentioning quite a lot over the last few months is Abdoulaye Doucouré from Watford. Obviously, they've just been relegated, so I think quite a few of their players might well be leaving. I do feel he'd be a good fit for us, but similar to some of the other ones, I think this will depend on whether or not we do sign Thomas Partey or not. I think obviously Thomas Partey is the number one target for that central midfield area position, and I think that he would be the best player for us to get. But if we can't get that done because of the finances or whatever it is, then I think Doucouré would be a very good option instead. They're very similar in style, box to box player. Obviously, Partey is more of a finished article, whereas Doucouré maybe has still got improvements to make. But I feel he could make those improvements with us. So this is a player that I would really, really be keen to sign if it's possible. But I do think our interest may only be if the Thomas Partey deal doesn't go through. But again, that isn't one I would completely rule out just yet. But it's not one that I'm expecting certainly anytime soon. A couple of other ones which maybe are probably not so likely. I've seen a link actually with Ivan Rakitic, another Barcelona player, very, very technically gifted midfield player called Croatian international, played in the World Cup final in 2018. He's 32 now, but he's still a very good player. It seems like maybe Barcelona are looking to move him on. I think maybe the links come because Arteta knows him personally, of course, the Barcelona link as well. He'd be a good player to get in, but I do feel a little bit more likely that if we get the Philippe Coutinho deal done, that we probably won't be pursuing anything with Rakitic just because I feel they're quite similar players playing a similar sort of role in the team. Coutinho, of course, is a bit younger and he's got Premier League experience, so out of the two, he's probably the better option. But again, I wouldn't rule that out completely. I think it would depend on what deal could be done, bearing in mind his age and stuff like that. So just keep an eye on that one. It's just something that a link that I've seen. So you never know. Obviously, he's a quality player, but how much more he's got to give at the top level, I'm not 100% sure. And finally, you've got Ousmane Dembele, who's another player at Barcelona. They seem to be wanting to get rid of everybody at the moment. He's only 23, obviously French international. He's a two-footed player who plays in those sort of wide positions. Now, again, it's a similar thing with Zaha and the Willian. If we buy Willian, I can't see us going after another wide player. But having said that, if Aubameyang didn't sign his deal, he would be a great replacement. He can score goals from the left-hand side, and he could take that role on. So if Aubameyang doesn't sign and we was to lose Aubameyang this summer, then certainly I think that the interest in Dembele would definitely increase. But as it looks likely that Aubameyang is going to stay, I can't see this going anywhere further really. But again, we've been linked with him, haven't we? On and off really for the last couple of windows. So, but again, for this moment in time, I can't see that one going through. So that's just a few of the players that there's been links with. I just thought I'd mention them just so we could have a look at them, and also just because if any of those deals do actually happen in this summer window, then I can give myself a pat on the back for mentioning them. But we'll see what happens with them. I'm not really expecting any of those to sign, possibly apart from Douglas Luiz. I would say he's the most likely out of all of those. But again, a lot of it is dependent on these other deals that are in the pipeline going through, aren't they? So that's that for today. So if you let me know what your thoughts are on those players that I've mentioned, whether or not you think we might sign any of them, whether or not you think any of them be good signings or bad signings, and what you think the chances are, and let me know in the comments. This is a new channel. I'm trying to build it up. So any likes, shares, and subscriptions would be much appreciated. Any feedback on the channel as well. If there's anything in particular you'd like to be featured on here, I'm looking for some new ideas as well to get us through this summer and also into next season. I am going to be doing some features on some ex-Arsenal players from the past as well, featuring them, profiling them as well over the next few weeks as well. But I think at the moment, obviously, all the transfer news going on is quite a big issue, so I just wanted to cover that really as well. So, but yeah, just let me know your comments as well, and how you can help me really to help grow the channel as well. So, thanks for watching, and look out for the next video coming very soon. And in the meantime, come on.